Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of the debut season of the Double DLC podcast featuring myself, Dark Slim. You may know me from Two Nerds and an Actor, another podcast, and also the loud, audacious, bombastic, spastic, electric man to my digital left or right, Mr. Fino. Say hello to the people.
What's up, people? What's up, people? Let me say it again. What's up, people? I had to go back. NFL's about to start. That was the commercial during the Super Bowl. I had to bring the what's up back. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. All right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey,
you know what?
NFL's more people back tomorrow, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, more people probably know that what's happening joining from Scary Movie more than they do the fact that it was an NFL commercial.
Well, hey, yeah. Or
to be honest,
the sad part is they probably only know the fucking app, but whatever.
Oh, that too. Yeah. But all right, so that's high energy, a little bit of throwbacks, which is kind of perfect for what we're gonna be talking about at some point in this episode. So, I mean, the Double DLC podcast, for those who might not be familiar, we talk about video games and our place in them. We give our opinions on some gaming trends. We talk about what we've been playing. I mean, we take a look back, forward, whatever. It's usually console-based opinions and views, but we also talk about, and we will be talking about a little bit of PC gaming today as well. And, we want to also give a shout out to CCG, Chaos Creek Gaming, who we're, partnering with. That's right. And we're also recording this today on one of the members, JT Flash's birthday. So I want to give a happy 30th birthday shout out.
Happy birthday,
to JT on that, JT Flash. So, I mean, by the time this gets uploaded, it'll be after that, but, let the record show. All right. So speaking of records, right? Let's get straight into some big news that was shared recently and then kind of not matched, but co-signed by the two big giants in the console market besides Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft. I'll just briefly talk about what they just announced recently, and Ruff, Fino, you chime in, and we'll talk about it. So Sony is big. God, yeah, you got to, because
I'm mad at this. First of all, I know we haven't even got to the news of it yet, but I'm mad at this whole thing. Okay, now just say it first, and then I'll
okay, because people probably don't know what the fuck we're talking about. All right,
I know.
So Sony announced that the PlayStation 5, both the digital or with the disc version. The PlayStation 5 is, despite the global pandemic, despite the shortages of certain chipsets and other pieces of hardware to make these consoles and other technological, devices. Sony has announced that the PlayStation 5 is its fastest selling console of all time, outpacing every other version of PlayStation that has come before it, and reaching over 10 million units sold worldwide.
That's so BS. I don't care what anyone says. That's BS.
You don't believe it?
I don't believe that. Say the next part too.
Well, Microsoft, they didn't, let too much time pass before they chimed in and shared that they too, with their Series X and Series S consoles, have year to date, from the time of launch to the time that they made that announcement, they have also sold the most Xbox consoles that they've ever sold before, outpacing the Xbox One, the 360, and the original Xbox big boy console. So for some reason, Fino is offended or upset at this information.
Look, I'm upset only because it's full of BS, and I don't want to curse as much as today. Okay,
I'm
trying to be more healthy in my word usage. Okay, but that is just BS. It is just absolutely 100 grade A monkey BS. Okay, there's just no way. First off, it hasn't been. No one's able to buy it. So who has the unless they have the audacity to include all the people that used all the hacks and cheats to get them. If you're including that, which I'm assuming they are,
they're including the scalpers.
that means they're just throwing it into the faces of the millions of people that don't have the system that would have got.
Well, I mean,
I don't think you should announce because you got it by cheating. I mean, it wasn't your fault. I'm not blaming you.
not everyone.
But I'm just saying, it's BS. Xbox's whole what was that program they had where you can pay it monthly instead of paying
like an access, something access, all access,
Xbox access, all access, whatever. I wasn't even given the opportunity to sign up for it. Like no one was. Now I know you were able to. You were able to a year later? But come on.
No, it wasn't a year later. I mean, it hasn't even been a year that these consoles have been out.
But it just feels like it was like a year later.
It does feel like forever. And, not everyone was as lucky as you to get not one, but both of the next-gen consoles on the same day.
I'm the voice of the voiceless, okay? Shout out.
Yeah, because you're one of the few that has both. Yeah, you're the overwhelming minority. But sales are sales, and the demand is high for these consoles, which is, it creates, unfortunately, that ecosystem for, scalpers to thrive. But whether we're talking about legitimate sales or not, if you also look at just the demand, which is extremely high too for these consoles, especially now during the time where we're not fully out of this pandemic. So a lot of people are still spending a lot of time at home, believe it or not. These consoles are very much desired. And latest reports are saying that the chipsets that were already pretty scarce might continue to be scarce all the way into 2023. So somehow, despite all of this, what happened?
No, I was saying I believe that. Just the other day, my boy Sammy, he showed me I believe it was the 2880 Ti or whatever, the graphic card.
Probably a 3080. No,
it was a 2080, I think. It was something high. It was a really great one. But anyway, it was like $2,000. By the way, if anyone wants one, he knows somebody who's selling it for $1,000.
Wow, really? You using our podcast platform to plug?
Look, I'm just saying that it's $2,000 for that card.
That's just a graphics card.
And that's just a graphics card.
Right.
I found computers on Amazon that the whole thing was like $1,500 and it had everything and almost as good as a card. Not the same card, but just almost as good as a card. So it's just, it's just crazy. So I definitely believe that.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible that the chip shortage maybe affected the next news story we're going to get into, at least on one of the company sides, and why the news that came out was kind of underwhelming. I don't know, maybe. But we'll put the Sony and the Microsoft celebration to the side. Good for them. If you want a console, I hope that you're able to find one eventually, but don't give in to the scalpers. That only makes it worse for everybody else. Yeah. So our next bit of news we want to talk about is Nintendo announcing its long-awaited update to the Switch. Now, rumors about a 4K Nintendo Switch or HD, like Nintendo Switch have been going around the internet for I don't even know how long. It's been a long time. And they finally officially announced their newest Switch model, but it doesn't have quite near the updates that I think a lot of people were hoping for. It will have an OLED screen, which is nice. A little bit of a bigger display, also nice. But the battery life is pretty much the same. It has a better kickstand. but they didn't fix anything with their controllers and the drift issue. Um, and it only goes up to 1080p docked. I think it is. Is it 1080p docked?
Yeah, my bad. I didn't realize you were asking me about this. I thought, I'm just look. I honestly, the minute Nintendo talked, I kind of tuned out because I knew they were also going to bring some BS into this whole situation with this. The minute, the minute they even like the minute 4K wasn't even mentioned,
Right.
I was like,
Or a better battery life for those that
or
want to
just
take it on the go,
yeah, like just anything better. To be honest with you,
or improving the Joy Cons.
yeah.
None of
I have
that.
some cool Joy Cons, not the one that Nintendo has. It was one I forgot who sells the ones I have, but they are way better. Even the joystick is really awesome. Like it actually feels like an Xbox and PlayStation joystick. But it's just sad that you have to go outside of the main company to get
To get something that feels quality.
yeah, that feels like it
Yeah,
should. That's what it should be. But just getting back to this pathetic system. Um,
pretty
I
underwhelming.
mean, yeah, it's pathetic. I mean, that's just there was it. Is they selling it for 350? The screen is a little bit bigger. What is it like 7 inches now? 7 inch OLED screen.
Just around that.
Um,
I mean, I
kickstand.
think I think
Does
I,
anybody
obviously I
use the
haven't been able to look
kickstand?
at it.
I don't think
But oh yeah,
anybody
way better
uses.
kickstand. Obviously, I haven't been able to, get my hands on the OLED version, but by all accounts, folks, that it's objectively a nicer screen. But I mean, I I think most of the people I know play their Switch docked.
I
So
don't.
if you,
I don't.
I said the majority of people that I know play the majority of the time on the Switch with it docked.
Right, right.
So for it not to have that 4K power, not even, something higher than
The
1080p.
thing is, this is what pisses me off about it because and to be honest, is 4K a huge deal? Not necessarily. And
Mm.
this is to be fair to Nintendo. I got to be a little bit fair. Most of their games are what animated games. So Mario, Zelda, well, pretty much, those games are cartoonish like. So it's not like you're playing. No one's playing Call of Duty on the Switch or
Yeah, no one's doing it because you
Battlefield or
can't make it on there. But that's the
I
thing.
know, but at the
If you
same
could
time,
make it on there,
no
I
one's gonna
think that
buy
they
it
would.
on there. I don't think they're gonna buy it. No one is. You're not gonna see Shroud go buy Call of Duty on the damn Switch.
No, not
I don't
Shroud. You're
like.
not
Not
Shroud.
even you. Not even me. Like
No,
we're
wait a
not buying
minute.
Call of Duty on the Switch.
Now
We're
hold
not.
on though. Not as the first go-to. No, I would buy it on PC first because that's where I'm going to get the best experience overall. And then I'd buy it on console because that's the nicest screen that I have. The nicest biggest screen there is my television in my living room. But as a secondary or third option, especially if you couple the OLED screen with potentially a better battery and maybe a little bit more horsepower to play better, bigger, more robust games, then yeah, I would probably do that. Like for funsies, not as my primary hardcore like Call of Duty experience
I'll tell you
console. No.
this. I'll
But
tell
what I'm
you
saying, you can't make some like we've seen some studios do miracles with like Doom Eternal and things like that they were able to The Witcher 3 that they were able to put on Switch and it still looks decent, like pretty decent. But we know that the hardware limitations of the Switch are basically barriers that AAA companies are not willing to try to tackle because it's too fucking hard to like downgrade their game to play on the Switch, and like that title coming up, the Guardians of the Galaxy game that Square Enix is working on, that's gonna be like streamed onto the Switch, and we're gonna see how that works because Nintendo's Online is not great, like at all. And speaking of that, and I'll pass it to you. The one other thing we were hoping to see on the Switch, maybe it was like some type of like way to communicate, like some type
Voice chat,
of
yeah.
microphone or something, and they didn't include that. So
Man,
they
I
still
swear though, I had voice chat when I played Fortnite. I
yet
remember hearing
not
it.
through the Switch system. We had this conversation already. There's no
No, but
microphone on the Switch.
I swear I heard a kid talk through my thing. Now maybe they had a headset on,
Yeah,
but I
maybe
could
they
have,
have some type of headset thing,
but I
but
could have
there's no
sworn.
there's no onboard built-in voice chat
No, it was
capability
just
on the
weird.
Switch.
It was just
And there
weird.
was all the way back on the DS Lite and the DS
Yeah.
more than 10 years ago, which it
I,
makes no sense.
look, I think I said this to you before on another episode, on the last episode. I can't remember, but the Switch was made not to play online. The Switch was made to play with people in
That's
front of
bullshit.
it.
How
That's
could
what
you
it was
say
made
that
for.
when
The
how
Switch
could you
was.
say that?
You know how I can say that? One of their biggest games that's made to be played with people that actually it's in the title Party, Mario Party. What did it
Right.
not have? It did not
Online.
have
They
online.
just added it.
So
They
that
just now added it.
exactly after the complaints. But that proves to me that the system was never made for online capabilities. It was made so that if me and you were in the room right now, in the same room with some kids and with maybe some more friends or whatever, we can all have switches and we'll play together in the same room. That's
I
what it was
I
made for.
I
And I
disagree.
get it. I get it. I get why you're saying you disagree. But that's everything is proving that. No voice chat. No online capabilities. They never even tried to fix online. They've never even tried
it's
to
not that
fix
they
it.
haven't tried to fix. It's less of a fix because it is in a lot of senses of the word broken in some games and frustrating.
No, every
It's
game.
just it's so ass backwards and not innovative. They want you to use your mobile device as your voice chat,
They did that to just in case you weren't in the
but they
same
still
room.
are making games that do rely on online. Like Mario Kart 8 was huge. The online on that was huge. Smash Brothers, huge game. The online is shit, but it matters. Like being able to
Mario
play
Kart
online.
is the only game that I know that is on Switch that actually works online. But
No,
the
some
thing
some of the
is,
games
I
work.
just
It's
said that
just
I know that I know. So,
I wish that Nintendo had the same energy when it came to online innovation or making that space something truly special as they do with their actual first party games. Nintendo is incorporating online. They're incorporating it more now than they ever have before in their games. But what doesn't make sense, the disconnect is the fact that we're seeing features missing now that they at least attempted to include more than a decade
I
ago.
could just say, and I'll just say this: I don't think they don't care about online. They're never going to care about online, unless the
Hmm.
rumors is true that they're teaming up with Xbox. But other than that, it's never going to work.
They're selling well. I mean, we talked about Sony and Microsoft, fastest selling consoles. The Switch is still selling almost as well. Like it's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's gonna
And
sell.
the
It'll sell
OLED
okay.
version will sell through the fucking roof. It'll sell through the roof, and they'll
Three
keep on
hundred and
trucking.
fifty dollars for
Three
those.
hundred
I don't
fifty
know if you said
dollars.
the price.
Now, if you're looking for a high end portable type device, maybe Steam and their new Steam Deck is what will have you covered. The Steam Deck, which is going to come out in 3 different versions, and the versions are different mainly due to their onboard space, like capacity to download games to and things like that. Although I think the highest end version also has a better, more scratch resistant screen, like a display. But other than that, they're pretty much the same. And we're talking about a portable PC in terms of the horsepower under the hood and
Well,
everything that went into this device. Steam and Gabe Newell and them have really put a lot of thought into to make this experience as high end feeling as possible for based on the specs, a pretty miraculous device. I mean, you could even dock this thing and use it as a full-on PC if you wanted. Seems highly customizable in terms of OS. They said you could delete our entire OS if you want, put whatever you want on there, Windows, Linux, whatever you want. And according to the Steam folks that are behind the creation of this thing, they said they have yet to play a game on it from the Steam full library of games that it can't run, which is very promising if that's true. But the Steam Deck, tell me what you think about the Steam Deck.
I love the idea. It's not new technology. As far as they've done stuff like this before, it wasn't on this level, but they've done similar things before to great success. But this is a game changer for sure. However, I will say this, and will add that there is a difference as far as the hardware within the systems, from the cheap to the more expensive one. There's a slight difference. Well, it actually turned out to be a bigger difference as more reports came out. The lower one is much slower in
Right. The read and write speed of the hard drive.
Yeah.
Of the storage space in the 64, is it 64 gigs is the smallest one?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, 64 gig is the smallest, and then we got the 128 and then the 512.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, you're right. The smallest end version of this, the most affordable one, it's gonna have write speeds from its hard drive that will make some more modern games perhaps run not so well or at all.
Yeah, and what's even cool is like I believe I think AMD and Valve. They're actually already working together to build a better CPU driver for the console that's actually directed for the console itself. So they're already working on making it better before it even came out. So that's just amazing in itself. But yeah, you're allowed to basically bring your whole Steam library into the console, which is that alone is pretty dope. Because as you're a PC gamer, it's pretty much endless the amount of games, the type of games, the number of games that you can play, and then just the whole not hacking it, but just being able to bring in old generations of consoles. I already know one of my boys. He's already talking about bringing the Super Nintendo games, modding it pretty much so you can play all the Pokemon games, it wouldn't surprise me they could play Switch games up there eventually. Someone's gonna mod it where you'll be able to, and it's for the price. It's just pretty damn amazing. I can't wait for it to come out. But the thing is, I think it's supposed to come out later this year, or if not early next year. I tried doing the pre-orders when it became available to do it, and
Yeah,
I could still pre-order it, but they said that I would have to wait till 2020.
right.
I mean 2023.
To the following year.
So for that, they told me early 2023 before I can even get my console. So good luck getting one. This is going to be similar to what we talked about earlier with the Xboxes and the PS.
Might be even more difficult to nail one of these down.
Yeah,
But
so.
I agree with you that it's a game changer. I mean, Steam, they've tried different. They've been trying to get into like the console business with their Steam library and the way that they have built up that community, that support system, and the way that you access games and mods and all that. They've been trying to get into your living room through a box or some and all those things have failed. But this handheld device, which again can be docked, very similar to the Switch, with the specs that it has and all the things going for it. And I don't know if you mentioned the little touch pads they have under the sticks on
No,
the left and the
I
right
didn't get
side.
into the actual hardware of the
Yeah,
game
it's
because I'm
it's a
not
lot.
too
There's a lot
I'm
going
not too
on.
familiar with it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I didn't see it, and I do have questions about the placement of the buttons, for example, and the
Yeah, you
joysticks.
gotta
But
definitely.
from what I
It looks odd.
understand, it doesn't affect. It feels really good, apparently. But
Yeah,
that's only if you trust the writers that got
yeah,
into
the
it.
reviewers who are getting early access to such
Yeah,
a
yeah.
device with a lot of buzz around it. But we'll definitely have to wait and see in terms of how well this device can actually run some games. And since it's a portable PC, you can have emulators on it and all types of stuff. I'm not advocating
Emulators. That's the
pirate.
word. That's the
I'm
word
not
I was thinking.
advocating piracy,
They
but
are. They basically told you can
I'm
mod it.
just saying that you could put some stuff on there.
Look,
And I mean,
I will say this: if I'm able to play Grand Theft Auto 5 online, on the go, and
you
like,
you should be able to.
no, I know, but that's what I'm saying. That right
Yeah,
there automatically destroys the Switch. So there you go.
you can. That's the thing. You
Ladies and gentlemen,
absolutely.
this is the adult version of Switch. We need to
Yeah,
switch to the kids, except for the one game that we'll talk about later.
right.
But other than that, get yourself a Steam Deck. Uh, this is this is the game changer. The world is changing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
The world is
to
changing.
have such technology in your hands at a pretty decent price, it is incredible. Um, but Steam Deck full of possibilities. And speaking of possibilities, through this podcast, we have networked and created a partnership, like we mentioned before, with CCG, Chaos Creek Gaming, and
CCG.
CCG, and we definitely wanted to shout them out, and their members, core members being Birthday Boy JT Flash, E, as well as Monstro, who I had a chance to interview with a very similar background behind me, uh, just the other day, and pick his brain
Lucky.
on what
You're
happened.
lucky. You're lucky because I asked questions. Monster, you avoided me, and it's okay. It's okay. But I
Calling
will
out
see
Monstro.
you.
Okay,
I
all
will
right.
see you. That's all. That's
Well,
all
everybody's
that
gonna see
matters.
him. Everybody's gonna see him right now because
Yeah.
we're gonna cut real quick to an interview segment that I had with him. So so you guys could get to know CCG, or at least one of the founding members of it, a little bit better. So let's throw it to that. All right. So without further ado, we would like to take this time to get to know one of the founding members of CCG, Chaos Creek Gaming, Monstro himself. Monstro, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm great for this opportunity. I mean, we rarely speak. For me to that's a lie. We talk every day. But we're here to talk about Chaos Creek Gaming, CCG. We're here to get folks to know about you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your gaming history and your love of gaming?
Shout out to France. um, so my first console was throwback Nintendo Entertainment System. That's like when I first played something, which was like the old school Mario. That was like basically it was Mario and Duck Hunt on the same cartridge.
I remember that.
Yeah, so like that was like my first, I guess, toe dip, and it wasn't like something crazy because I was just young at the time. It was just something, oh, this is cool. We could do whatever on the TV. It wasn't until I played Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo that I was like, this is for me. And literally, if anybody always asks, I always talk about Mega Man is my favorite because that's what just started everything. And yeah, I mean, it's literally from I guess Nintendo up until now. I've had everything
All
except
right.
except Sega stuff. I've never had like a Genesis, a Dreamcast, none of that.
See, that's where we defer because I had Sega Genesis instead of Super Nintendo. So, I kind of had the different
Right.
experience, with the games, but that's cool. So like your passion started out with Mega Man X,
Mhm.
which in and of itself is a little bit of a remix of the older um
Correct.
Nintendo formula for Mega Man, where they
Mhm.
really tried to add a lot of elements to, the verticality of the game and the mobility, like something like never before. So that's cool.
Ability.
And speaking of like mobility, let's transition. Like, how did your passion for gaming motivate you to want to put together, CCG? Like what is CCG? How does that relate to like your passion for games?
So I mean, like most content creators, I feel like some of them, well, I guess a good bit, they all like they're into the competitive scene. We we're kind of going not necessarily casual, but like we're just here to have a good time. It ain't. I've done it plenty of times with watching different YouTubers. Like I've played the game myself 1,000 times, but then seeing them play it, how differently they play it, how they react to different things is, it's always just fun to watch. And we just want to bring a good atmosphere and just in a sense grow our own gaming community. Like just 'cause there's definitely some type of sway that different people have because of their popularity. So if it's something that let's say when Battlefield drops, right? Let's say by then our popularity grows to like some crazy thing, and we actually end up getting sway, and it's like, hey, maybe we could just kind of I don't know, I guess get it in nice with the developers to some extent. It's like, hey, this is the kind of feedback we're getting on our end. Maybe it's something you guys want to investigate, or just, or even in general, like being able to, I guess, try things early, right? Certain people get review copies. It's like, oh, try this, talk about it to some extent, leave whatever story stuff out. It's just little things like that. But that's not necessarily what we're shooting for. Those are more like perks, in a sense, I guess.
Right.
As we get up there in popularity, that's just something that may or may not happen.
Right.
But all in all, man, we just want to do what we love doing and share it with others.
Yeah. So you want to turn those experiences of playthroughs of experiencing games with your friends and things like that, and like just see if we could catch an audience based
Hmm.
on that whole experience, because sometimes, like you said, you see other people, they post up their it could be a game you played already, but they post their reactions to it, and it kind of helps you to either see a different angle or just enjoy it again, but through their experience. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, hey, if it leads to being able to have some type of voice in the gaming community, where the feedback that we might get and generate by the community that we end up building, with developers
Right.
just to make games better, that's I can see that reciprocal relationship. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
But for
man.
now, like we've you and I have co-op through, I don't even know how many games, like a lot. We've
Yeah.
co-op through a lot of games over the years,
Yeah.
from like, first person shooters, third person, all types of different games. And
Yeah.
that's why I think it's very exciting, that you have this passion for gaming, you recognize something within your friend group, and you just want to share that with people, and hopefully it resonates with other people, with folks. That's
Mhm.
dope. And speaking of dope, speaking of games that resonate, like I know that you're a huge Dead Space fan. I know this just from knowing you. So I mean, recently it was announced that they're gonna have like a whole Dead Space remake, reboot, re. I'm not really sure. Like it's just more new Death Space, and I guess it's like a relaunch of the series, which has been going for a while, right? Death Space 3 was the last thing we got, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And that's when EA bought Visceral, and
right.
you could tell once I guess EA was in charge or whatever, things deviated a little. Obviously, Dead Space 3 is not the most popular.
It's
you know,
not.
they did add the co-op, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like with games like that, if you're gonna add co-op to something like Dead Space, you need that model that comes from Borderlands, right? You play Borderlands, as soon as somebody joins your game, the game just instantly gets harder.
Mm,
That's something they should have incorporated because the necromorphs alone, in order to kill them, you have to like take their limbs out.
mm,
Um, so by default, once you shoot an arm or a leg off, the creature's dead.
right.
Maybe they up that. Maybe you needed to decap the head this time because you got a co-op partner, or you know,
Or maybe just raise the HP of the limbs, like how many hits it takes, so that you could concentrate fire.
they could have probably not shared resources. You know, that
Mm,
way you use specific guns, you just pick up that ammo type, and vice versa for me. But no, if you're using the same stuff,
right.
it you know it just could have been done way better.
Right. I mean, co-op, when you add that to a game, it has to like fit seamlessly, or the game has to just be built around the concept of co-op. It has to
Exactly.
be one or the other.
Right. It can't
Because
be like
if you just add co-op to a game, it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna add anything. It's like Sonic 2. You know,
right.
Sonic 2, like, yeah, somebody else could control Tails,
Hmm.
and you could kill enemies, the bosses, twice as fast because you got two people hitting them. But you're not really adding very much. There's very few areas that you could go with Tails attached where it would matter, you know? So I see what you're saying with that. But how you feel about them going back? Like, would you rather them do a Dead Space 4, or do you think you're okay with them just going back, kind of restart from the beginning
I
with a
would,
franchise like Dead Space?
me personally, I would prefer the Dead Space 4, but
You would
I guess,
prefer the Dead Space?
yeah, but I guess because of the way 3 went down and the way they just stopped the series, I can see this as like a way of them like just rebooting,
Right.
and there's obviously a ton of hype behind it already. People speculated it way before it was even announced. Um, but I feel like if once they do this reboot or remaster or whatever they're doing, once they see that success of it, I think then they'll probably end up continuing, or who knows, maybe they even just might go a different route with it. Because I mean, in the first game, yeah, you play as Isaac Clarke, but it was one of those things. Oh, we won't show you his face because you're Isaac Clarke. Then
All right,
two
like
came,
on some Master Chief shit.
yeah, and then part 2 came out, and I was like, oh, that's what he looks like, like,
Yeah.
and it's specifically just him, and then part 2 was dope because you got to just experience his mental instability with everything, with just interacting with the marker and it being planet side instead of being on the ship this time.
Right.
It
But
was dope.
there's something that I hope they recapture for the first one. That being on that ship that contains space,
Yep.
it adds to the level of like, tension, because it's like there's nowhere you can go.
Nope.
This is where you can be, this is it. This is where you're at, like not even Resident Evil Mansion where you can go out to the grounds. No, no, no. You just in here. That
Narrow
and
corridors.
right, narrow corridors, exactly. So hopefully they kind of recapture that element. Definitely you can have horror in any environment, but there was something about part one that hooked so many people, and I think that was a part of it, as well as the like super ultra violent, disturbing imagery that the series was known for. That kind of made you wonder how they get away with this, like in a game. I wonder if they're gonna just go right back to that. Like I hope it's not just Dead Space in name. Like if you're
Right.
gonna go Dead Space, go Dead Space.
Honestly, that was a part of the original game, just seeing the different ways you can die.
Yeah.
'Cause there was a lot,
There
and a
were,
lot of it was
yes, the creativity was disturbing when it came to how they put that into the game. Like, oh, I could lose both eyes. Okay, not just this one. Oh, okay, cool. That's cool that they added that animation.
forget the name of a creature, but basically it's just like a head with a spinal cord or whatever. It If it gets the killing blow on you, it decapitates you and then inserts its head on your body and then boom, like it was crazy. Just the different things that would just happen.
My turn.
Bro. I
Yeah.
mean, even they had like different environmental like deaths as well, whether if you ran out of oxygen or if you stasis something and you didn't get there in time and it's something that just squished you like it's such a good game.
Yeah, like I'm really hoping they get back in touch with that. And if they end up eventually, adding co-op to it, I'm hoping they do it with more intentionality because
Right.
you can have some co-op situations where like one player might have to do something to help the other player not get squished in another
Right.
room.
Exactly.
Or there
Like
might be a situation where the two players, they're getting prepped. They think they're about to fight a boss, but maybe the floor drops out for one of them, and there's only
right.
one of them against the boss, and the other one's maybe doing something else to try to support, but they're not actually fighting the boss. That would be great. Like moments like that would make the co-op experience make sense.
Yes.
But we'll see. We'll see if they go that in depth with it.
Oh,
Is there like another series besides Dead Space? Since we're being greedy, is there another series where you would like for developers or a game company to like go back and like resurrect or
yeah,
redo?
yeah. Army of Two.
Army of Two.
That was just built off of straight co-op.
That's the one
And
where you could drag when your guy's down. You could like
yeah,
drag him and he could still be
yes,
shooting.
yes, and you could
Yeah.
rip doors off cars and use it as a shield. Like,
Mm. What company made Army of Two? Who's that by?
damn. I know EA published it. I don't remember
There's another EA franchise. They
yeah,
did they do two Army of Two games or just one?
they did three.
They did three Army of Two games.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
Army of Two, the 40th Day, and then Army of Two, the Devil's Cartel. And I think they did one for like the PSP as well, or whatever, but that don't count.
Do you think some elements of the Army of Two mechanics will work if they did like a battle royale, like
Mm,
teams of two, but with some of the mechanics, the co-op mechanics of Army of
definitely.
Two?
I mean, think about it now. Think about uh let's say something like Apex, right? Yeah, you can crawl when you're down, but imagine you get Lifeline or even Pathfinder, right? He could shoot his grapple to you
And
and
pull.
bring you to his, yeah,
Yeah,
like
that would be
there's
cool.
definitely things that they can influence. And I mean, to me personally, that was the first game that had like an aggro system.
Hmm.
So
I
it's like
mean,
if
it had a really good one, and it had the first
well,
one.
yeah, or not the first, yeah, but it was really good. So it's like if I'm drawing all the attention,
Yeah.
basically your co-op partner will become kind of like transparent, and he could just go flank, do whatever, like
Yo,
little
Ruff,
thing.
you ever play Army of Two? That sounds like your game, fam.
It's bro, it was good. And then obviously they went all crazy with the gun customization,
Hmm.
where like you could start with an M4 but give it like a AK barrel. Um, it's stuff that probably won't function in real
Right,
life, but it
but
was
it's still
fun.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, whereas the guns themselves become kind of a character because you
right,
personalized it to
exactly.
a
And
crazy
then
extent.
it was one of those like the action was just crazy, like a la Fast and Furious.
Mm.
You're not there to be like, oh, this story is amazing. No, you're just there to shoot shit with your boys, like. But it was just fun. It was good.
For the Army of Two, eh? So EA, if it's you, get on that. Maybe we need a Army of Two Part 4. All right, that's
That
cool. And
thank
so like, why don't you tell the people, like what you've been playing recently? Like what's right now been your mode?
yeah. So right now I've been doing the 2016 Ratchet and Clank, which was like their reboot of the original game.
That's the theme. That's the theme. Reboots.
Yeah, it's everywhere, bro. Our generation just loves nostalgia, I guess. But I'm also doing Rift Apart. I'm playing those like together. Rift Apart's pretty much new to me. I've played the original, or not the original, the remake of Ratchet and Clank. Um, and then me and JT Zoom, we've been playing Gears of War, but that's a part of. So like Fridays, we post uh, a retro game, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's what like I guess Fridays will be for just old school games. We plan on doing like old school Splinter Cell games, uh maybe some Metal Gear games,
Mm.
which would be
See,
fun. I might take those to play instead of other people because I've never played 2 or 3.
from
I
what,
did,
Metal Gear?
yeah, I played part 1 and then went straight to 4 and then 5 and
You
uh
never killed Fat Man.
no,
You ain't lived till you met Fat Man.
right. And
Mhm.
then there's the whole Metal Gear reboot, right? Like they're remaking the first game, or is
That's
that
been
still
the rumor. That's been
right?
the rumor. We'll see how that works because there's certain elements of the original Metal Gear Solid that played on the whole experience of playing the game at that time. Like Kojima had the memory card trick. That if you had
Mhm.
other Konami properties on there, Psycho Mantis would read your mind by reading your card. It had the whole switch the controller from player 1 to 2, so that way you could attack Psycho Mantis. There was just
Right,
certain things. There was a code on the back of the case of the game that you had to actually use in the game to get the codec signal. Like
right,
there was a lot of meta shit going on that nowadays, like today, I don't know if you could do that again. You
right.
know,
If they do,
so
it'll probably be some like companion app thing, which I feel like a lot of the times those just fail. They never work.
yeah, I don't know if we would have to do a deep dive to see if there's ever been a companion app that actually added to a game experience, but that's a discussion for another time. We're gonna have the link to the CCG YouTube in the description of this vid. We're gonna share that out on social media, also along with the other socials for the CCG crew, Chaos Creek Gaming. And appreciate you, Monstro, for taking some time, letting people get to know you, and to hear
Cool.
your voice, put yourself out there. And I look forward to gaming, man.
Same, bro.
All right. Any shout outs you want to do before we go? Besides Francis Oof.
uh, just shout out to the whole crew, to Rough, uh, and just shout out to life, bro.
Can't spell life without E, even though he's silent. You know what I mean? We appreciate you too, E. All right. So later, y'all, we're gonna continue on now with the Double DLC podcast episode. All right. So hopefully you enjoyed that interview with Monstro, one of the founding members of CCG Gaming, Chaos Creek Gaming. And you got a little bit of insight into what he loves about games, some of his favorite games, some of the things he's looking forward to, and what Chaos Creek Gaming is about. But one of the things that really stood out to me from talking to him was this idea that they're rebooting a Dead Space, and there's a lot of franchises that maybe fans will want to see companies pay that type of attention to bring some new life or reintroduce those franchises to a new generation of gamers. So, Fino, let me ask you, what gaming franchise do you think deserves that type of treatment?
That's tough. That's really tough for me. So I ain't gonna lie. So you already know what my favorite series is. My favorite series is Metal Gear, but that's not the game that I would want them to do. It's just too hard to do. So I'm gonna go back to a kind of similar game. I'm sure you've played it before, but Typhon Filter. Um,
Typhon Filter.
that I think
Hmm.
they made about 6 or 7 of these. I
No,
can't
I think they
remember.
made three. I think they
No,
made
they
three.
had like little spin-off things. I know they had one,
Oh,
2, and 3, but then they had like other versions of it.
okay.
That I think continued the story. I don't know. I didn't play those. I only played the first 3. But I would love to see that come back. I've always was a fan of it. And that's to me was just that was one of the games that I wasn't allowed to play early because I was still
Mhm.
young, but I would make sure that I snuck around and played it when no one was home. So
That demo that they had from I think it was PlayStation Magazine, had like 7 or 8 games you could play on the demo disc on the
yeah,
PlayStation One
I
back
miss
in the
those,
day.
yo. I miss those.
That that Siphon Filter demo. Once people found out that you could unlock like a challenge mode to time yourself, because I
Yeah,
remember it had some type of timing. that shit got played more than some games, like full games. That's legendary.
There was some game that I didn't buy the game, but I had the demo of it. I can't remember what it was. But it's just like you said. That's like I didn't buy the game. I didn't care for it. All I wanted to play was that demo.
Was
so
the
I just
demo.
keep replaying.
Shout out to the old PlayStation magazines where they had them demo discs that had a lot of games on there. This is pre-download, off the internet
like
type stuff.
It's like the Tony Hawk. You know how you only
Oh,
get
yeah.
2 minutes. You know how many times we just played that
Over and over, and then when the
game
we finally bought the game. Yeah, we finally bought the game, and then the first thing we did was went to that same level. I think it was France. I think it was a France level of the skate park. Went right there and put the 4 or 5 tracks that were on the demo, put that on there. And it's like we bought the game so that we could play the demo. You know, it was like a reverse.
Man.
Yeah, but shout out back in the day, man. Before you could download your demo from the internet.
We need more demos, bro. That's one thing that I wish.
Nah, demos turned into betas, and betas turned into pre-order privileges.
I know, but we need demos, man, because not everyone can play the betas. It's a lot of times they do invite only. You have to buy the game to get in. Yeah. That defeats the whole purpose. I want to be able to know if the game's good before I actually buy it.
Well, yeah, what's sad is that the development cycle now, instead of them doing quality reviews on their own, what they do is we're part of that process. We pre-order the game so that we could test out an inferior version of the game, an unfinished version of the game. And then sometimes they make adjustments based on the feedback, but other times they don't, and they still release a broken game. But back in the day, we had the demo. Typhon Filter, that's an interesting answer. But me, I mean, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I don't know. It definitely wasn't inspired by Space Jam 2. It was not. But I would just love for a remake, reboot, reimagining of the NBA Street franchise.
NBA Street Volume 2, bro.
NBA Street Volume 2 is a fucking classic, man.
That's
the music, the fake street baller boss battles, and the 3 Jordans. Like that you could have a team of just all Jordans from different eras, which was amazing and cool. That series, it was like, it wasn't as crazy over the top as NBA Jam, but it had, with the narration from Bobito Garcia, it had that appreciation of street ball to it, that you could still be very stylish, but it never really crossed the line to like big head mode, crazy NBA Jam type shit.
Yeah.
And it was a grittiness to it, and I love that series. I really wish the music in it. I really wish they brought that back.
Sports game of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was great. Volume 2, legendary status of that. And if you were watching the verses last night with the Locks and Dipset, you were probably getting some vibes of another old EA franchise. You probably wanted to see Def Jam New York. That would be great if they bring back Def Jam. But I don't know if artists today, I feel like they probably too sensitive in there. Why he got to hit me though in the game, Yeah. But that'd be
I
cool
just feel
franchise.
like everybody would try to jump Drake. I'm like, nah, please don't do that. That's my boy. That's fine.
Drake, you know what? Drake will be the only character with a shadow clone. That's his Ghost Rider. So they go and attack Drake. They go and attack Drake, and that's not even him.
I'm done. Yo,
I'm kidding. I'm
cut
kidding.
Bro. You can just disrespect me right in front. It's cool though. It's cool. But just real quick though, because you did mention it. I don't know if you ever played it, but Space Jam, the basketball game on Dreamcast, I remember that game. That game was good as fuck.
I never got to play that. I never had a Dreamcast.
That game, I didn't have it, but I remember the kid that lived on the first floor of my apartment building had it. I would only be nice to the kids so I could go over and play it. And
it was good.
It had to be
good. We track it down.
I still remember it to this day.
Now, question: was it a better game? Was it a better game than what Dom made in Space Jam 2? Why the hell did they came out with a free Space Jam 2 game? But it's like a side scroller beat 'em up.
I did play it. I ain't gonna lie, I did play it.
It's a side, but it's like a Streets of Rage type. Why?
Yeah.
Just come up with the game that he made in the movie.
They could have just made the basketball game.
Yeah, I don't understand. Missed opportunity.
It was like, yo, but don't get me started.
Yeah, that would have been a cool tie-in to the movie, I guess. Whatever.
You talked enough about that on your podcast. I don't want to talk about that.
I did. Aisha, France, and I already talked about that.
Oh God!
All right, well let's move on. Let's not relive the movie DK, the cinema catastrophe that was cinematic catastrophe that was Space Jam.
One Time Family was his God.
The only movie about family that matters is Fast and Furious. All right, so let's move on to some news about one of the more popular genres of gaming, which is the first person shooters. And a lot of news came out over the last couple of weeks, and even recently now of three very huge first person shooter games, different like genres of games, but types of games rather, but still huge news. So let's start with the oldest of this news, Battlefield 2042, a very highly anticipated game, a franchise that has been around for a very long time, so popular that when they announced Battlefield 2042, EA was flooded with people trying to get on Battlefield 4, a game that's 8 years old. They had to open more servers because people just wanted to play a modern type of Battlefield. They skipped over 5 and 1 with the recent ones that they released that take place in like a World War I type of setting, because they wanted to play Battlefield kind of before the 2042 one dropped. So they just recently showed a really cool feature that they're going to be having in it called Portal 2040, Battlefield 2042 Portal. Fino, did you get to take a look at some of that?
I did not see that. So if you know more about it, please.
I looked at a lot of in-depth stuff, so I'll briefly share. So Battle 2042 Portal is going to be, think of, do you remember Halo's Forge? Where you could create game types and
like the custom area.
Yeah, like custom stuff, right? So it's not going to have that level of customization when it comes to like the stages, the maps, but you can customize almost everything else, and they're incorporating their past Battlefield games. So we're talking about stuff from Bad Company, Battlefield 1943, Battlefield 3. They're going to be incorporating the vehicles, weapons, abilities, class type, all that stuff from past Battlefield games that you could kind of remix and switch up in different game modes. Like you can have on a 2042 map a battle between World War I era tanks versus Battlefield 3 modern day air support. Like you can really mix it up, and the level of customization of game types goes even deeper than that. And it's a free system. It's a free aspect of Battlefield 2042 that anybody can kind of go in there and make a game type and share it. And they're gonna have like a ranking system and basically a suggestion system for popular game modes or game maps or whatever. So folks could download, upvote, downvote, whatever. And it's a really cool way to integrate creativity into the community. It's not modding, it's not going that far, right? But it's farther with with like official assets from past Battlefield games, revved up to modern day graphics so that it looks gorgeous. It's a really cool playground, really, for a game that already is a playground. When you play Battlefield, it's that experience. You feel maybe a little bit overwhelmed, the 10 planes are flying overhead, but Battlefield games give you the sensation that very few other games of its ilk, the big army shooters, give you. And so I'm really excited to see what people can come up with when it comes to the customization.
Really dope. That's really dope. Yeah, that kind of reminds me of like if you go back to the old wrestling games, they had like a mode where you can actually create your own storylines and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it to me it kind of reminds me of that just because you could throw your own flair to it. I'm trying to think. There was another game where you can create your own. Oh no, wasn't it Halo? Yeah, Halo had something like that pretty
Yeah,
much.
they had
Yeah,
the
you mentioned
Forge.
Forge, right?
Mhm.
That's yeah, duh. That's why you said Forge earlier. My bad. But yeah, it does go. Halo 2, I believe, was Halo 2 the first one that had Forge? I
No,
can't.
it was
Oh, it was
3.
three. Three.
Yeah.
Okay, three had it. So I remember, I forgot who created, but one of my friends had made this mode, and that's where we used to play like Michael Myers on and stuff like that. It was just stupid things. And if you're telling me that, and I guess I'm gonna have to go watch this video or whatever that they had on it. But if it's something where you could just create your own chaos,
Yeah.
create your own war,
Yeah.
that right there, that
and
sounds like
and they already basically said you can have like a zombies mode with 128 players. You can
okay,
have you
yeah.
can balance it so that the teams are not even. So if you want to make one squad of 5 against the rest, everybody else being like zombies or some shit, and if you want to adjust like the speed of the players or their health bars or different aspect, like you can do all that.
Oh, so
And
that's even more intuitive than any. That's beyond anything that anyone has ever really done
it's
before.
it's just short of modding. It's just short of being able to actually mod and from the ground up
Right.
make stuff. And again, you can't modify the maps, but one of the things you can do is like you can choose a map, and then if you want, it was like a bubble. Like you can choose the area of the map that you want the game mode to take place on, and it basically will be like a bubble just on that area.
So
So you
would
don't
you
have
be
to use the
doing
whole maps.
so like you can create like basically like a Call of Duty where you can have like a little deathmatch type deal,
Oh
or you
yeah,
know what I
yeah, yeah. I
mean?
mean, it
Like,
has deathmatch already, but yes, you can tailor it and
well,
adjust,
I mean,
things.
into like a lower, you could basically make your own Call of Duty in a
Yeah,
way. Yeah,
yeah,
so
you can make
that's
a yeah, you could with the Battlefield engine. And the fact that they're
that's dope.
incorporating, like the gadgets and the classes and stuff from previous Battlefields, if you want to mix them up, it just makes me wonder why other games haven't done it. Like, why hasn't Call of Duty done something like this, where you could perhaps, you know, rem- take the M16 from COD 4 versus the MP40 from World at War. These guns that had their moments where everybody considered them like broken. You know what I'm saying? Have them boom go up against one another on a Black Ops 2 map. Like something crazy like
Right,
that.
yeah. Yeah, I
Or
mean,
or
just
imagine playing with the kill streaks from World at War, but like in Black Ops 4.
right,
Like just
right.
things like that. But anyway, Battlefield, good shit on them.
I like that. I like
By them, not on them. And
that.
hopefully that mode is as cool as it sounds and as it seems. Now let's talk about Halo, since we were mentioning giving praise to Forge. Some footage of Halo's multiplayer has been hitting the YouTube feeds, the streets. Some content creators and stuff have gotten their hands on very early versions of the multiplayer of Halo. Were you able to watch any of that?
So I did watch
Then
the
you watched more than
gameplay.
me. Tell me about it.
So to be honest with you, it looked directly like it did in the trailer. Because that was actual gameplay. And it was pretty much similar to that. It had that Halo feel. It, obviously with the new spin with, a little bit, that whole grappling hook thing. There was some grappling hook moments that I saw. It pretty much dealt with the whole alpha that they dropped. You had to be invited to it, and actually the
Right.
Halo website crashed because so many people tried to get on it, thinking that they could just join it when you had to be invited. My boy actually did get invited, but he wasn't even allowed to get on it because the site crashed because of all the people. Anyway, but what he got to play and what he told me is that there's a lot of basically they gave you a lot of customization uh, options, and basically they gave you a bunch of money to spend on the the different items that you can have, whether it be armor, your whatever, whatever your look, pretty much.
Cosmetics, a
And
bunch of cosmetics.
yeah. And with that, it looks like they're probably going to judge the pricing of which cosmetic is based on whichever was the most popular out of this alpha. Um, and he said there was some really cool one. His favorite is still the one that was in the trailer. That I think it was like
Like the samurai one.
samurai, yeah. Like that was
Yeah.
still his favorite one. But I mean, as great as that looked, I mean, I don't blame him. But then just going back to the gameplay wise, I hadn't got his opinion on the gameplay yet. Hopefully I will soon. But just from what I saw though from the videos, it just felt amazing. I think you're gonna love it. I think I already know I'm gonna love it. I think every Halo fan, if you're playing the Game of the Year edition or whatever it's called, Legendary Edition, whatever it's called, like it's gonna remind you of that same experience. So it's just really dope.
I have that sounds good. I mean, I haven't been able to watch any footage yet, but hearing some impressions from some of the people that were invited to it, they were saying that it felt a lot like 3, and Halo 3 might have been, like peak Halo, in terms of popularity
Yeah.
and what a lot of people look back to. I mean, I played more Halo 2 than I did 3. But with the balancing that they're also adding, like, to some of the to the items and stuff like that, where you could like hold on to your armor and not pop it till you actually want to. And same thing with the invisibility, the cloak, invisibility and stuff like that, the stealth. It makes it sound like very strategic. And I'm hoping that it doesn't feel like as fake Call of Duty and arcadey is not the right word, but I feel like they lost their way with 4 and 5 when it came to what people want with Halo.
I will tell you this from my impressions on how it looked. It's going to be Halo. Like this is not them trying to, like you said, be like a Call of Duty or be a Battlefield. Like this is Halo. This is the Halo experience that we wanted for forever. Because it just looked great. It really did. Like I said, it's different watching it versus what once it's in our hands.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I get invited to the beta. I've already did my applications and all that.
I did too. I hope so. I hope I get in as well.
But it should be fine. It should be fine. I don't think there's going to be too much to worry about. I think that the delay, the year off, actually, or whatever long it was that they put the delay. I think the game could have got dropped that on time, no problem, and it would have been fine. But at that extra delay, that extra year or whatever that they added, I think they put into making this game even better than it already was, maybe more better than they expected it to be. And I think us as fans we're going to be really happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, right at this point, I definitely want to try multiplayer. I hope they release some campaign, like how that's gonna work since it's like open world, DK. Because I've ran through almost every Halo with friends, with family, whatever, in co-op. That's one of the cool things about Halo. I remember, the great moments of playing through Halo campaign on Legendary and things like that. And the moments that the Halo franchise creates, this excitement that's very unique and awesome. All right, so now we're gonna go to something that's definitely in your wheelhouse, a passion of yours, a franchise that you share your love for with almost everybody who is within earshot. Apex has just reached their 10th season. They've introduced a new character named Seer.
Yes, they did.
And have you had a chance to dip your toes in season 10 of Apex?
Oh yeah, yes, I have.
All right, so tell the people what makes season 10 of Apex,
So pretty much
a must play.
Pretty much, I mean, Seer alone Seer alone, it kind of makes the game must play just because of how OP he is. Like he's kind of broken, bro. Like he kind of
Yeah.
makes he makes Bloodhound like a little man. Like your powers ain't nothing on me.
He makes Bloodhound
Now,
look like Crypto.
like pretty much, I can say, all right. So Bloodhound, Crypto, Wraith, Octane, Gibraltar, and I'm trying to think. Those are like the main the main characters that pros use. There's someone else I'm missing too, but those are the main characters. Seer's gonna jump in and he might kick Bloodhound out of the game. Like that's how great his powers is. He has kind of like this heartbeat sensor that he keeps on him that's like 75 feet out around
75
so
meters, I think. I think it's 75 meters.
Yeah, meters. I'm sorry. I forgot. Yeah. So that's what me of this 3 feet in the meter. Am I thinking that right? It's something
Don't
like
make
that.
me
Anyway,
don't make me do metric system stuff.
Yeah, I forgot what it is. I think it's like 3 feet in a meter or whatever.
We could say that 75 meters is significantly farther than 75 feet.
It's 3 feet in a yard. Look, it's been a while since I had to do math. Anyway, damn, I work out well. But anyway, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, look, 75 meters out is pretty fucking far. Definitely when you're playing Apex, every inch matters when it comes to that. And with his ult, where he basically throws like this whole orb circle thing around this area, and it illuminates everyone that's in that area. Like it's to the point where it even tells you like if you're wearing purple armor, it actually shows how much damage you're missing from your life and all that. Like it's just freaking awesome.
And does it show that to the entire team?
Yes, it does.
So the entire team will know how much health you have, the armor you have,
yes,
as well as your location.
Yes. Yes.
Jeez.
He kicked Bloodhound out the game. Like, there's no need for Bloodhound. Now
the only difference between like Seer's ability to scan for opponents and Bloodhound's is that Bloodhound's goes out in kind of like a cone, right? It's like a cone.
Yeah. It's
that
like
that goes out in front of him, right? Like a sonar. But it's a little bit of a skill shot, right? With Seer, because you have to like aim that tunnel that he gets, like a tunnel of vision.
You have to aim that. That is true. But if he uses his ult, it's like the whole area. So it's like you're in a globe.
Right, like a nanite dome or something.
Yeah. And if it hits you, also, let's say you're healing yourself, it literally freezes that and makes you start over. Like it does little
it interrupts. It interrupts like actions.
Down. Yeah, it shuts it down. Don't just interrupt it. It shuts it down.
It's not as strong as like the silence that Revenant that he gets, right?
From my understanding, now I've never been hit with it yet, but so I can't tell you from the person being hit. But from my understanding, though, it kind of freezes you also, like for like a second or two. Like it's enough where it's OP. Like,
so you don't need Seer and Bloodhound on a team.
I will tell you this: I can see some pros using both. I can see where someone's gonna use both, and they're gonna just try to they're gonna always know where everyone is, because if you watch Pro Tournament, like I just watched the Pro Tournament that they just had. Bottom 9 just won. It was the national championship the Global Series championship. So they're the champions.
Shout out to them.
And like that, I can in professional play, placement and your location is what matters. Like it matters more than anything, because they don't play aggressive like you would like if you go play in a ranked or a public match right now. You know, they play a lot differently. And
positioning over everything.
And it's pretty much with that, this is going to just make it even more. It's just going to make it even more about positioning, because now I know where everyone is around me. I'm like, oh shit. Like, okay. So, It's pretty dope. And then just some other changes they made. They added a new gun called Rampage. It's a heavy weapon that you can actually upgrade, similar to like the Sentinel, where you can add the cells to it to power it up.
The
This
fire
one,
grenades, right? The flame
yeah,
grenades.
this one you can use the flame grenades to power it up. And first of all, without it, it's pretty strong. With it, it's oh my god, it's pretty dope. They also added some other changes. Think of it like the L Star, for example, got a huge buff. Major changes to the L Star.
It's a real gun now. You can put attachments and
Yeah.
shit on it.
Add attachments to it, and it's really damn strong. They made changes to the map, especially to World's Edge. They made changes to World's Edge, which is probably the most popular map. And anyway, like the north side of the map, they completely changed the north side of it. There's little changes near where the railroad system was and all that. But yeah, the game's pretty dope. And just another tidbit, in pubs, you can play all 3 maps in pubs now. First time ever. So 10th anniversary.
Long
I
overdue.
guess. Not
That's
10th
good.
anniversary, but 10th season of Apex. I expect great things. The battle pass looks good, even though I'm still disappointed and still think Apex has the worst battle pass of all time, just in general. I still think it's the worst game that has a battle pass. But other than that, it is what it is. Apex, I'll be on it probably.
And Apex, I've seen video actually of Apex Mobile, and that's coming soon too.
I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm never gonna play mobile. I
No,
tried it on
me
Switch.
neither. But you will be probably playing against people.
Oh yeah. But
that
I
are
was just
playing
gonna-
on mobile.
I'm just gonna let people know, like, one, I will never play it on mobile, and 2, I played it on the Switch. It's god awful. Yeah, I don't like it at all. It looks bad. It doesn't play well as far as movement wise. It just
Yeah,
looks bad. It's
I need
not.
my battle royales at
It's
60 FPS.
to be honest with you, like when the Switch first came out, the first game I played on it was Fortnite. Fortnite plays really well on Switch. Like I was a god on Switch, and I was playing. I made sure I was playing against like controller players. Like I was playing. I wasn't just playing Switch players. Like the movement with Fortnite on Switch was awesome. Like it was super awesome. Apex, nah, I'm good. Pass. And that just came out on it, I think, a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I'm good. Pass.
Right, so 3 first-person shooter franchises, 3 very different ones, and I didn't even mention the fact that there's a rumor that Halo, for the people that were able to get into that early access alpha like version of the multiplayer demo, they did a little digging, and 343 had to announce, that some files were included in that download that may have campaign spoilers and some other types of spoilers. And I know that they found, the announcer guy, double kill, killing spree. The guy that does that, one of the folks that did some data mining found a soundbite where the announcer says battle royale or something like that. So Halo might have a BR mode of some kind as well.
I would enjoy that. I would
So,
enjoy that.
look out,
I'm
Apex.
one that loves battle royales. I've recently gotten back into playing Call of Duty.
Warzone?
So the Warzone for it, well, just Call of Duty in general, but Warzone I've definitely gotten back into. I'm just a fan of battle royales. I don't know why, except Fortnite, I can't get back into it. But other than that, man,
Not even with the new Ariana Grande skins.
I might. If they got one for free, I'll sign in and get it. But I ain't paying for it.
All right. Well, before we leave y'all, we're gonna leave with we're gonna make a regular thing. We'll talk about what we're playing. And recently a very big time franchise free to play game dropped on the console that we kind of shit on earlier, but we're gonna give it its props now. A little bit, just a little bit of props. Because we've both been playing it. Spoiler alert. Okay.
Yeah, man.
But,
Spoiler.
spoiler. Fino, what have we been playing lately.
What have we been playing? Is that what you're asking me? What have we
Yes.
been playing? We have been
Yes.
playing a game that belongs to a franchise that it's arguably like the greatest franchise of all time.
It is very beloved.
It's argued. That's what I said, arguably.
Yeah.
But it's definitely in my top 5. But anyway, the game that I'm talking about is free to play, as you mentioned, and is on Nintendo Switch. It is called Pokemon Unite. This is a
Yep.
MOBA that is automatically like in the top 3 MOBAs of all time.
Oh my god.
Like to me, it shits on Smite. That was it.
Oh,
Smite,
come on.
Smite, whatever it's called. It's completely better than that. It's already on
Wildin'.
par with League of Legends. It's maybe like a notch under it. They just gotta add a couple more Pokemon. But once they do, oh, it's over. And I love League of Legends. That was the first MOBA I've ever played. But
my Gengar.
I'm just saying, Pokemon Unite for the Switch, it's awesome. Just the multiple of Pokemon that you can use already. It's a great number. I think it was about 20 of them, or 15 to 20, I think.
It's close to 20. It's close to 20.
Yeah. But it's and the fact that they're already updating it. They just dropped an update for it.
They did.
This means that they're going to be consistently working on it.
They are going to be consistently working on it, but I think there's a caveat to this.
I don't know what that caveat can be. This game is going to make them billions.
Well, the hyperbolic praise you're heaping upon it. Yes, we've both been playing it. But this is a MOBA Pokemon game that will be making its way to mobile. And it is made by Tencent. And this game is it's one of those games. Huh?
I said Trump ain't president no more. We good. We can.
Trump ain't got nothing to do with the fact that this game
ain't gonna get banned.
This game is well, that's not why I'm mentioning Tencent. I mean, Tencent, they make games that besides the gameplay, they have probably perfected the games that make you feel like you need to spend money on to be good at it. Because this game, it's fun. It's beginner friendly if you've never played a MOBA before compared to some other MOBAs, in that the controls are not necessarily difficult. The maps are not necessarily complex. They don't give you a lot of information that other MOBAs would, like how much damage does a move do exactly, or how much defense does a buff give you exactly. It doesn't do a lot of that, of telling you what the fuck the numbers for you to actually, hardcore the shit. But it is, some people are upset how predatorial the game seems. There are like 10 different types of currencies. The leveling system doesn't take too long to get your trainer level up, but it does take a long time to grind. And in some cases, it'd be impossible to grind fully some items and upgrades for those items, let alone being able to get some Pokemon in your roster. Probably not now, but in the near future. I don't know how generous they're going to be with helping you get Pokemon on your roster.
First off. Smite is the same way. So I don't want to hear that.
No, that's not true, because Smite
building to get a character. First off,
no.
Just to get it. Let's just say you didn't buy the first thing, right?
God Pass, the God whatever
Pass.
Right.
Which
is probably the greatest deal in gaming history. But
yeah, I agree. But it's like 100 gods, right, or something that they have now.
They're well over 100. Well, not well over, but they've passed 100 gods.
Okay, well, like just think about how much you had to grind to even get all that.
No, but see, this is the difference. This is the difference between what we're talking about. The main issue is less so the Pokemon with Pokemon Unite, and it's the items. It's the fact that you can. Go you could buy and upgrade your items if you are a whale and you purchase all the levels of the battle pass, for example.
But if you look at the stats of those items, it's not a big deal.
They are significant. They are significant because
they're not.
First of all, items in Pokemon Unite can be leveled up to 30, to level 30.
Yes.
Okay. And there's a huge difference between an item giving you, let's say, 10% crit and an item giving me 3% crit.
That 7% is not gonna make a. That 7% is not
and
that big of a
that
deal.
is where I'm just giving you an example, but it does make a huge difference.
It does make a huge difference
if we're both using the same character. See, in Smite, your performance in the game determines how quickly you get gold, and then you can buy better items in game. With Pokemon Unite, you're getting your items before the game even starts. And if I pick Snorlax and you pick Snorlax, but you have level 30 items and I only have level 10 items, if we're swanging, I mean, if we're equal skill,
that's the caveat. That's the caveat, though.
But that's not fair, because you paid. No, it's not. You paid real world money for your Snorlax to be better than my Snorlax when it shouldn't be that way.
First off, the game is free.
Yeah, the game is free.
Listen, I'm not finished. The game is free. If this was a game that we both paid for, even let's say we both dropped $60 on the game, and then I was able to pay $20 more to make my character better than yours, I would agree with you. This is a free-to-play game, and the game is like you said. It's only if we are equal skill. How rare, and you've played a lot of games, how rare has it that you found people that have been equal skill to you on this game already?
That's not the point.
It is the point. It is the point.
No, it's not.
Because it's a team.
The game just came out, first of all. But second of all, whether the game costs $0 to play or $5 or $100 to play, the fact that items which directly affect your Pokemon's, your character's abilities, not only yours, but also the team, because there are a lot of items that add support to the team members. The fact that you can buy them, and see, this is the thing. If you buy the entire battle pass, right? And let's say you get yourself 3 or 4 level 30 maxed items, right? It would take me, if I'm a free-to-play player, it would take me, people did the math on this, it would take me months to have items equivalent to yours, because they put caps on how much you can earn daily of the different currencies and how much you can earn weekly and all this shit. So to me, I'm not saying any of the items or this is game breaking, but it's setting a precedent. Like, the game off the bat is already very predatorial. It's kind of disgusting with how little you can earn in the game to like free to play and legit.
The only thing I disagree.
I wish they just had more cosmetics. You make money through more cosmetics than.
The only thing I wish they didn't have was the cap. Everything else I'm fine with.
I agree. I think there shouldn't be a cap.
I feel like it's okay. If that person wants to pay an extra $100, he deserves to have all the items he wants.
I don't agree with that.
It's it's like in life. It's like if we both buy a game, but I buy DLC, I should get more better stuff than you do.
But then that sucks, because this game, which is a MOBA, and if it's gonna have a long life, one of the aspects of it is gonna have to be its esport life. And if you're talking about esports and competitive balance, then you can't be a great esports player unless you have your level 30 items. That sucks. That's not conducive to building a game that's going to survive long term, is my point.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
Like
That's
one
a
thing,
great
one thing is the
disagree.
characters, but the other thing is if you're talking about the items you go into the game with directly affecting how well your character can be played. That's kind of icky. Like
I
imagine
don't.
like imagine if like in 2K you can buy VC, right?
Yeah,
You can buy VC and you
there's
can
no
up.
problem with that.
I'm saying you could buy VC, but you
Yeah,
still have to grind for your badges, correct?
yeah, you do.
All right, so this game is essentially kind of letting you buy your badges. It's letting you buy your badges.
I wish they would let me buy the badges.
Well, then that's
I
that's different.
really, to be
That's the
honest,
difference
I'd
between me and
rather
you
because the thing is, the reason why is because the level it takes you to get to that badges, it takes away from the game. I just want to enjoy the game.
to me, what I mean, they'll never do it because they make too much money. But games like 2K, what they should let you do, and even in Pokemon, when you buy a certain currency and you go to upgrade an item, or in 2K you go to upgrade a skill, once you do that, you lose it. If you want to make, let's say I try an item out and I don't like it, it's not like I could use the upgrade points that I put into that item into another item. You know what I'm saying? I have to get more points. In 2K, it would be great if like when you buy VC, that's VC that you can use for as many characters as you want, so that you don't have to just start from scratch and start paying again. I think that would make the badge grinding a little bit more tolerable, because at least you have more abilities more ability in your player to be able to excel. But anyway, we've both been playing Pokemon Unite. We're suggesting that you give it a try. Give it a try if you haven't already.
Yeah, it's
But
definitely a great game. I hope
I don't
people
know
do
about saying
play
it's
it.
great. It's fun.
It's
I'm
a
I'm a
great
little
game to
hesitant to
play.
call it great just yet. Just yet.
It's a top 3 mobile of the last 10 years. So
Okay. Well, folks, you take that with not a grain. Take that with a fucking halo
you're
ring of
talking,
salt.
and this is coming from a player that in Smite I was diamond, which is one of the highest things you can be. So
Wow, we're doing this? Are you kidding me?
just saying.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, I was diamond.
You know what? I'm
Not
gonna do
many
you a
people
favor.
can say that.
I'm gonna do you a favor and not expose you. And I'm just gonna end the ep here. All right.
Yo, just
Thank
say
y'all
it.
for checking out. Nah, just say less.
Just
Thank
say
y'all for checking out this episode. Hopefully you found something we said entertaining or that you liked. And if you did, make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to the CCG Gaming channel on YouTube. All the links will be in the description. Follow us on social media. Links will be in the description as well. And let us know. Give us feedback if there's something you want us to talk about. We're gonna be more prevalent on the social medias these next coming weeks, and we really want to establish our voice
Yo,
when
shout
it
out
comes to gaming.
CCG real quick. Shout out to Monstro. Happy birthday, JT. Shout out to E. I'm gonna be jumping on a video with you guys soon. Schedule's been hectic, but I'll get it worked out. Also, it's like he mentioned before, we're gonna be way more on social media, gonna get better doing that, and we're also gonna get some more videos out, get our episodes out a lot sooner. That is also part of the works. And we're gonna definitely do something with CCG soon. This was the start with Monstro joining the episode and doing an interview with Slim. So I definitely appreciate that. Thank you, Monstro. That was good looks on that. I still think you avoiding me. It's all good though. I see you though. I'll see you with the gold mic.
Well, with the buzzy mic, it sounds more like Clippers than whatever.
Yeah,
but
I know.
anyway, shout out to Jalen Rose Barber. Okay,
Yep.
so we're gonna end it here. Thank y'all for checking us out. Double DLC podcast, where we give you our honest take on the world of gaming and what we've been, enjoying. So thank you for checking us out. This is Dark Slim. That's
I'm Daddy Fino.
Yes, it is. And appreciate you. We out.
Peace.